Representative Omar say, oh, America's a terrible place. I thought there'd be justice, and there's no justice here. It's like, well, she came here and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care, and then lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat in Congress, and she says we're a terrible country. I think that's about as ungrateful as you can get. And so while I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere, I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia. And I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia, that has no capitalism, has no God-given rights guaranteed in a constitution, and has about 7 different tribes that have been fighting each other for the last 40 years. And then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America more.
In this video, he makes a pretty sharp point. Sometimes, you don't really appreciate what you've got until you compare it to other parts of the world. But before we get into it, hit that like button if you're tired of politicians playing it safe instead of telling it like it is. And don't forget to subscribe for more honest political reactions, because trust me, we've got a lot more to talk about. Here's why I think Rand Paul's comment actually makes a lot of sense. First off, context matters. We live in a country where freedom of speech, opportunity, and the rule of law, though not flawless, are still light years ahead of what you'll find in Somalia. And when you have an elected US official like Ilhan Omar constantly highlighting America's flaws, without much acknowledgement of how far ahead we are compared to many other nations, it raises a fair question. Does she really appreciate the system that gave her the chance to serve in Congress? Rand Paul wasn't saying America is above criticism. Far from it. He was pointing out that when you come from a place that's been ravaged by warlords, corruption, and extreme poverty, there's a perspective you can't ignore. America, with all its debates, protests, and messy politics, still gives you a platform, still gives you safety, still gives you freedoms that billions of people around the world would risk their lives to have. And let me be clear, I get why some people feel Rand Paul's delivery is sharp, but sometimes sharp truth is what cuts through the noise. You don't fix problems in America by acting like we're the worst place on earth. You fix problems by recognizing our strengths, appreciating them, and then working to improve what's broken. Now here's the part people miss. It's not about silencing criticism. Rand Paul isn't saying Omar can't criticize America. He's saying don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Compare apples to apples. Criticism is healthy, but when it comes across as only negative, it sends the wrong message about what this country really stands for.
I'm in a town where we have a lot of people who are refugees who have come, some from Somalia, some from Bosnia. I've never heard one of them say that America's a terrible place or be unappreciative of our country. Most of them are thankful. I've met people who have come here from behind the Iron Curtain that got away from communism. They're some of the best Americans we have because they really appreciate how great our country is. And then I hear Representative.
What do you guys think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with Rand Paul? Or do you think he crossed a line here? I want to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this reaction, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep it going. Okay guys, you've got to see this clip of Representative Nancy Mace. Now, if you don't know her, she's one of those politicians who isn't afraid to step into the fire and speak her mind. And in this moment, honestly, I think she completely nailed it.
The form of the resolution is as follows. House Resolution 713. Censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota and removing her from the Committee on Education and Workforce and the Committee on the Budget. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a lifelong advocate for freedom of speech, civil political discourse, and the political engagement of youth. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a man of deep faith, a husband, and a father to 2 young children. Whereas on September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University while exercising his First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Whereas on September 11, 2025, one day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar gave an interview on Zateo's town hall with Mehdi Hassan in which she smeared Charlie Kirk and implied he was to blame for his own murder. Whereas on September 12, 2025, 2 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar reposted a video on X, formerly known as Twitter, which disparaged the character of Charlie Kirk and those mourning his death. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X states Charlie Kirk is dead, and before the body got cold, the far right propped his corpse up as a cudgel for their holy war. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states, don't be fooled. These people don't give a single shit about Charlie Kirk. They are just using his death to further their Christo-fascist agenda. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a reprehensible human being. He enacted his political agenda by preying on weak-minded people. He took complex socioeconomic issues and simplified them by pointing fingers at outgroups, demonizing those groups, and siccing his massive following on them. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a stochastic terrorist, an adamant transphobe. He denied the genocide happening in Palestine. He believed the subjugation of women, and in his last dying words, he was spewing racist dog whistles. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states, Charlie Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster shot him through the neck. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further blames Charlie Kirk for his own murder. Whereas Clause 1 of Rule 13 of the Rules of the House of Representatives provides a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility on the House. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar's actions in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk are reprehensible and affect the dignity and integrity of the proceedings of the House and do not reflect the credibility on the House. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee on Education and Workforce and removed from the Committee on the Budget of the House.
All right, now that you've seen the whole thing, let's get into it. This is why I respect Nancy Mace. She doesn't dance around issues. She goes right at them with confidence. In this video, she stood her ground in a way that honestly made a lot of her colleagues look weak by comparison. And that's refreshing because we are tired of career politicians who hedge their words to avoid offending anyone. Now here's what stood out to me. Nancy Mace wasn't just talking for the sake of making noise. She was making a point that mattered. She pushed back against hypocrisy. She called things the way she saw them, and she wasn't scared of the backlash. That's exactly what we need more of in Congress. Think about it. Too often leaders fold under pressure. They put party first, they put power first, but not Nancy Mace. What you saw in that clip was someone putting principle first. She said what she believed, and she owned it. And whether you agree with her on every single issue or not, you can respect that kind of authenticity. And let me add this. Her courage has ripple effects. When one lawmaker stands firm, it sends a message to others. Hey, you don't have to cave. You don't have to play the Washington game. You can actually tell the truth. That sets a standard that we should all be encouraging. Now, of course, critics are going to twist this, because that's what happens when anyone challenges the narrative. But honestly, that just proves her point even more. If people are rattled, it's because she hit a nerve. And sometimes, hitting a nerve is exactly what's needed to spark real conversation. To me, Nancy Mace represents something a lot of voters are hungry for. Straight talk. No frills, no filter, no endless excuses, just honesty. And in today's climate, that is rare. So here's my takeaway. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, you've got to admit, this is the kind of leadership that shakes things up. And Washington desperately needs that shake-up.